Hello everyone, welcome to my screencast reflection video for MDF2 1309 Project 1. This week we had to create a Twitter app that populates our Twitter account information, all of our personal tweets, with a button that goes to a profile detail view and the ability to click on individual tweets in the table view and go to a detail view of that tweet. We also had to put in refresh functionality for the table and use the compose component of the new frameworks for this week. So for my code, I kind of followed along with the videos initially and changed some stuff around. Instead of doing it in the view did load, I created a separate method and just called it Twitter, or call Twitter rather. And that's where I put everything in there. So when the view did load starts, I kept the UI nib in the view did load, and then once I registered it, I just did self call Twitter to call that method. I initially had my alert within the call Twitter method, but it would hang a little too long most of the time. Sometimes it took as much as 2 or 3 minutes to initially pull the data and populate the table view. So I actually went down to the bottom and I did another method for just the alert and just called it start alert, and then threw everything in there with the show and then the dismiss with click button index. Just kept it all in there. So once I get going with it, I call the call Twitter from the view did load, and then within the call Twitter I did the self start alert, and then only calling it that one time because the functionality to shut the alert off is within that method. I just had to do the one line right here. So it kind of simplified it, kept things separate so it was easier to kind of debug and pick apart when I needed to. Other than that, the code is essentially followed the same way it was done in the video. I did the formatting for the date. If I can find it here, I created another one, used the date format to format the date how I wanted it, so it was more user friendly. And then when I set the cells, I did self date format and then the date string that I had created for it. Other than that, it was pretty basic, straightforward. I did use the code blocks a bit, at least I attempted to. That was the most confusing thing for me. Very new, and I found some of it a little difficult to get the logic straight. So here for my tweet detail view controller, for example, I did the type def void and then a code block dictionary close handler. So again, kind of followed along with what the video had, just to for ease of understanding it, and it did help. So I'll go ahead and fire up the app on the simulator and we'll take a look at what it does. So the alert popped real quick. This is a weird thing. It doesn't seem to want to populate immediately until I touch it. So it's there, it's just for whatever reason that I couldn't figure out, it's not wanting to show up immediately. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But you see I have my listing of the tweets with my profile image, and I've been playing around with it, testing being able to post. So you can go to, say, this one, The alert popped again. For the tweet details, I kept the profile image because on Twitter that kind of, it still kind of has it. And I still wanted you to be able to quickly and easily identify, okay, this is one of mine, or who it's from. But I've got the image, the person's name, their Twitter handle, their tweet description, the entire text, and then posted the format. I've got Wednesday, that is, yeah, that's correct. August 21st, 2013 at 8:36 p.m. was this one. So if I click the profile button, alert pops again, and you've got the image, name, followers following, number of tweets, and then a description. I actually had to go in and put a description of some type in mine because I didn't ever complete that, just to show that it works. The posting, I'm going to click. I have the posted from and then my username, and I'll just do, let's see, test tweet for MDF2 reflection video. So we'll send, I can actually even add the location, which I was playing around with on the iPad and actually works pretty well. And then send, hit refresh, it'll load again, and then there it is. Test tweet for MDF2 reflection video, click on that, and there it is. Test tweet for MDF2 reflection video. So everything works. I changed up the coloring of the toolbar is actually what I used up here on each page as opposed to a nav bar. I hate the default blue, so I just tried to change it to something else. So I'm pleased with how I did. Things I could have done better is definitely the code blocks. I need to understand those a lot better. I had a little trouble with the formatting with the XIB, but I ended up actually learning something new about how to position some of these labels and things that weren't wanting to line up for me initially. And I definitely learned how to use the toolbar. That's the first time I've actually used a toolbar, not a nav bar. So it definitely taught me some new tricks and whatnot. So that is it for my video. So thank you for watching and have a great day.